You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk a little New England Patriots, Mac Jones, Julian Edelman, a legendary New England Patriots player, wide receiver, was sort of a jack-of-all-trades guy, but even Julian Edelman, when you think about him, was a Kent State quarterback at one time that Bill Belichick turned into a wide receiver, and let's be real, it worked out, no doubt. He's got 620 catches in his career, 3 Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl MVP. He's got 4 seasons, guys, over 90 catches and over 900 yards. So, pretty remarkable career considering Julian Edelman's size. Well, he has come out and he's made some comments. Bill Belichick is taking a lot of heat right now, all right? Mac Jones is taking a lot of heat. I do think justifiably so, to a point, okay? But just very quickly, you got to think about what's going on with that offense and the personnel. Offensive line stinks. Wide receiving core stinks. Tight ends are, they're, let's just say, middle of the road, okay? So I quickly, before I hit play, or record in this case, I brought up a list of quarterbacks here just to go through the ones that I think would look like straight trash, homie, on this New England Patriots team. Jimmy G, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Hurts. Here's the 5 guys that I think could survive, maybe look okay. And I think only one of these guys actually really looks good in this offense because I think he would figure it out. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, a healthy Aaron Rodgers, completely healthy Aaron Rodgers, because I think to a certain extent he had a little bit of this going on in Green Bay after Green Bay traded away Devontae Adams. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes. And that's the guys that I think might be able to do something. But I got to be honest with you. Joe Burrow was very close to being on the other list because, well, he's got weapons out the ass in Cincinnati. But his offensive line has not played very well. So, Julian Edelman's come out, made some comments about Bill Belichick, the personnel guy, and a source close to Mac Jones has made some comments. You got to think this is something that said source close to Mac Jones, as I would assume heard that Mac has said or knows how Mac feels, or is like a lot of us just watching what's going on the field with the New England Patriots. So let's get to that first before we get to Edelman. But so this was from Fox Sports' Henry McKenna. And according to a source revealed by Henry McKenna, Mac Jones is not exactly happy with his current situation and believes others wouldn't be successful if they were put in his position either. Quote, "No matter how good of a cook you are, you cannot make garbage taste good. Even if it was not Mac at QB, what QB would play here under these circumstances?" He goes on to talk about what is the lie there. And so that gives you some context, maybe how Mac Jones may be feeling, or people in and around Mac Jones's circle is feeling about the situation. So let's go to Julian Edelman, because he made some comments on Colin Cowherd's show about exactly what and I'm going to tell you, he normally gives Bill Belichick a pass, guys. He normally does. But not anymore. And a lot of people are starting to come out. It's starting to look really bad, regardless of how you feel about Bill, the coach. People are really starting to note the personnel decisions have finally came back to bite Bill Belichick in the ass, and It has now gotten to the point where this is a monumentally horrible, awful, terrible team from a talent standpoint. This team is devoid of talent on the offensive side of the ball. This is Pat's pulpit. After getting embarrassed in back-to-back games, there isn't much going right for the Patriots. While there's a number of issues that have led to the current 1-4 record, it would be tough to find a bigger problem than their offensive personnel. It's gotten to the point where one former Patriot believes Bill Belichick, who has long served as the Patriots general manager, may need some assistance with his duties. I got to tell you, may need some assistance? Look, he would put in a director of player personnel and a general manager. He would give up those duties or he would give up his job. That would be the ultimatum I would be giving him if I'm Robert Kraft. Okay, and I know Kraft doesn't want to do that, but look no further than this one move right here that we're going to talk about, and it's Jakobi Meyers. Quote, I think he needs a little help on the offensive side. No shit. He said on the Cowherd show, you look at the defensive picks, they're all pretty good. Agreed. They always come out and they perform. The Christian Gonzalez kid, before he got hurt, he looked like he was playing good. Quote, but we have whiffed. And I hate talking about coach like this, but we have whiffed on a lot of offensive skill players. I won't call guys out, but there were 3-4 receivers when I was playing that we got in the top rounds that didn't work out. We know. We've seen some of the guys he's drafted at wide receiver, and Bill just can't pick them for whatever reason. But even more concerning is when he does get one, and in this case, somebody that Mac Jones was a massive fan of, he decided not to keep him and replace him with Juju Smith-Schuster.
But, I mean, we have whiffed, and I hate talking about coach like this, but we have whiffed on a lot of offensive skill position players, starting from, I don't want to call guys out, but there are 3-4 receivers.
I'll call them out by name. And they even point some of them out. Brandon Tate, Taylor Price, Aaron Dobson, N'Keal Harry, anybody.
When I was playing that we got in top rounds that, you knew early. You look in camp, and you can always see from a guy that's drafted high. You see one trait. They're raw, but you could see one trait. Oh, yep, that's a first rounder. You're looking, and I was like, what's going on here? That's not a first rounder. I don't know what's going on. So I think he would be the first to tell you that he's had some screw ups. He's a very accountable guy, and I do think that. That they probably do need a little more help on the offensive side of scouting or something. He could separate a lot. He could run routes. He was tough in the run. He could separate a lot. I didn't get that. I'm still a little shook.
This is the part that I really took note of. Is he was a little shook by getting rid of Jakobi Meyers.
Shook. On the Jakobi Meyers departure.
We didn't get that either.
I didn't get that.
He could separate a little.
He could separate a lot. He could run routes. He was tough in the run game. He would go in and block the force, and that's what you preach as a New England receiver: get open, catch the ball, and block in the run game. Those are the 3 things that you hear all the time. And it's just. This receiver group we have, it just seems like they're struggling to create separation, regardless of the reason. They haven't been able to separate. And I've been really hard on Mac, and I've been watching, and it's tough. A guy's a little open. That's still open, but they're still not giving him
Bryce Young,
right.
Bryce Young's facing the same thing.
Okay, so that just tells you right there. I mean, Edelman's been as critical on Mac as anybody, but I think the last 2 weeks woke a lot of people's eyes up to the Bill Belichick thing, particularly on a national level, that the personnel decisions have just backfired. Here's another article right here. It compares and contrasts contracts between Juju and Myers. Both players ended up signing similar deals. Smith-Schuster, New England, 3 years, 25.5. Myers to the Raiders, 3 years, 33. Both were given $16 million in full guarantees. And guys, the stats are eye-opening. It's eye-opening. And this, I don't know what Jakobi did last night. I haven't looked. But this was 5 games versus 4 games. Juju, 14 receptions, 86 yards, no touchdowns. 4 first downs. Jakobi, 4 games, 25 receptions, 274 yards, almost 200 more yards, 3 touchdowns, and this is the big one, the chain mover. 13 first downs. I mean, 13 first downs. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And you got Jakobi that's averaging, I mean, nearly 5 yards a reception more for the Raiders. And Jimmy Garoppolo, who, I mean, one could argue, Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, I do think Jimmy's better, but, I mean, Jimmy's also got Devontae Adams, and he's got Jakobi Meyers, he's got Josh Jacobs. Their offensive line is okay, but Jimmy's got a lot of weapons. And, you know, you just got to wonder, if you take Mac and you dropped him in with the Raiders right now, I mean, does he look as good as Jimmy? Almost as good as Jimmy? Better than Jimmy? Do we know? It's baffling what is going on with the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick not being able to, he cannot judge offensive side of the ball talent at all. And I said the Patricia and Judge thing on the offensive side of the ball, had that not been Bill Belichick, if that would have been any other coach outside of, let's say, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, maybe Sean McVay, maybe any other coach, Mike Tomlin, any other coach besides those that I just named, and I'm not sure McVay and Shanahan survive it, but any other coach, that coach is gone. That coach is gone. He's toast at the end of the year over that one decision alone. What he did on the offensive side of the ball, not installing an actual offensive guy. Look at what Bobby Slowick is doing down in Houston right now. For Nick Caserio, by the way, who all of a sudden, people were talking about his drafting ain't looking so good. Caserio's drafting's looking pretty good right about now, is it not? Question mark? I mean, he's hit on some wide receivers, and he hit on C.J. Stroud. No doubt. Had the wherewithal to re-sign Laramie Tunstall on his offensive line. Bill's just not hitting. Bill cannot hit offensive side of the ball picks. You know, Pop Douglas looks like he's got potential. But, I mean, he should be a 4 or a 3 at the best. But you've taken castaways. That's just what they are, castaways. Or cast-offs. Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne. You know, too much talent in Miami. We got to let you go. You're not even the 4th receiver here. Kendrick Bourne, San Francisco. You were the 6th or 7th guy in the list on talent, and Bill gets them and thinks, you know, I can make them number 1 and number 2 receivers. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.